So hopefully we are live now. Thank you, Dave. So welcome everyone to Meshery's development meeting. And this is a weekly meeting that happens every Wednesday. So today, once again, we are back with items that we will talk about that are on Meshery. So pull request issues and other roadmaps related to UI, UX, or other items. So if any one of you happen to have any items around Meshery, so you all can write your items in this docs. The link is in chat, but for those of you who just joined, let me once again share the.
Yash, since you're the host, can you go ahead and mute Rahul Chakarandi?
Thank you, Yash. So, and also one important thing is that do not forget to mark your attendance. So I'll be starting with mine. So just simply is about writing your name. Yeah, so let's get started. And like before we talk about various announcements and topics, the first thing is, and which is a late life tradition, and that is if you are joining this call, Meshery development call for the very first time. So you can go ahead with introducing yourself. You can talk about how did you continue about the community and project. So do we have any newcomer on the call today? I'll take a quick look. And as it seems, Amit Mishra, like, is it the first time that you're joining development call? If yes, can you please go next and introduce yourself? So a quick heads up for like folks who are having any audio or mic issues, you also can introduce in chat. So let's keep going. And Rahul, so Rahul, like you're joining this call for the very first time, I assume. So do you mind giving your intro? Just in case, are you sharing your right screen? I'm not able to see the meeting image. Okay, so, yep, let me once again. Thank you for pointing that out, Josh. So hopefully now the right screen is visible. So seems like Rahul also is having some similar kind of issues with mic. So please do introduce yourself in the chat.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead. Hi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so do you mind giving your intro since you are joining this call for the very first time? Do you mind talking
Yes.
about like how did you come to know about the project? Yeah.
Sir, I am at this again. Know anything about that? I heard from some social media about that project.
Welcome to the call, Rahul.
And sir, I didn't know anything about that. So how can I proceed?
So like, are you asking, you don't know anything about the
Thursday.
project?
Yeah, there's a meeting on Thursday for newcomers that would be good to point them to.
Yes,
Yeah.
I knew completely.
So I'll mention you in the newcomers channel with the details that you will need. Thank you, Rahul. Sayyid Ilhan, like you're joining this call for the first time. Do you mind giving your intro?
Yeah, sure. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so about myself, like I'm currently finishing my internship as a platform engineer at a company in Chennai, India. So throughout my college, I've worked a lot with full stack, a little bit of data engineering internships, and right now it's mostly DevOps that I'm playing around with. I hope to contribute towards the backend side of things here. So hopefully I'm in the right place.
First of all, welcome to the project and the call, Shayad. So definitely like, backend in the project is extensively written in Golang. So if you are familiar with the technology, so definitely you will find a couple of items that do need contribution. So, and hopefully like from this call too, you will get an idea of where you can, go and pick up some items. And all the maintainers throughout the call, they'll also flag some of those. So hopefully we'll get some to work on. Thank you, Sayed, for introducing.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Vivek.
Looks like that is all about the newcomers. So like if I left anyone, please do make sure you introduce yourself in the chat. Yeah, so now is the time to make this special announcement about our community and the project reaching 5,000 stars on GitHub. And so, like, if any one of you are curious how like a star is important for open source organization, so we do have a blog for that on our website that I'll be linking. But for now, thanks a lot to all of the contributors, maintainers, and other community members who are making efforts to keep the projects going. So definitely we'll go higher and beyond from here. So, and for those of you who have not yet start the repository, please do. I'll be sharing this link in chat. And also, like since we are discussing star, this is a nice story about Five, which is our mascot. Is known as our intergalactic hero. So you might find this his journey very interesting, and how stars help him go and continue his journey in the cloud native area. So definitely give this read if you want to. It's a very interesting read about Five. Anyone else want to say anything about this announcement? So once again, a very interesting moment for us to. Yeah. All right, so now we'll be going forward with topics, and so we'll be covering these as in the sequence. So first up, I'll just ask Abid, do you have any item that you want to, or maybe we can cover your item later?
Yeah, I'll come back later.
Makes sense. All right, so then we have Kang item on, and let me take a look. So it looks like she's not on the call, and maybe due to time zone differences, but yeah, so she has an item about on server that I'll put the link in chat in case you want to take a look. There it goes in chat. Next up, we have Fazil's item, and I wonder if we have Fazil on call. Looks we don't. Yes,
yeah.
so Sudhanshu,
Yeah, sorry, were you just asking about Dayang?
yeah.
Or was that? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm off. Agenda item. Apologies.
So since he's not, I just shared the PR's link in chat in case anyone wants to go and take a look. And then I was asking for Fazil, so he's not
Yeah.
on the call.
Sorry. Yep. I was just going to say the same thing you just did. Just-
So I was just requesting either yours or Dansu to please put a reminder so that if he wants to, he can join and we can discuss his item later.
no,
Yep.
well, actually, so Faisal won't be back. So just that's not a
Got it.
not a. Somebody else should pick it up, or we should just close the PR.
Thank you for that information, Lee. So yeah, so we have once again Matthew. So Matthew is a seasoned contributor here. You can see his profile also on layerfive.io. And in case like you're wondering what I'm talking about, so I'll be putting a link in chat from where you can get an idea what are these or profile about. Yeah, so Matthew, do you mind presenting your work? Let me check if we have Matthew. Yep, we do. I think she cannot hear me. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Alright,
You're asking Matthew if he wanted to cover his agenda item.
Yep, correct.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can. Please go.
Okay. Sorry, just my mic that wasn't not working. So yes, I will share my screen. Okay. Do you see my pull request here?
Yeah, we can see
But
your.
now you'll have to pay the $2 fine that is there, Matthew.
Okay. So here the pull request is just the promotion of component command in Meshery CTL. So basically, I just moved the. I just changed the behavior instead of using Meshery CTL AXP. Now we are just doing a Meshery component. And then we are able to use the commands. And doing so, I have also modified the list the way it was done because I found that the model one command and the component list command was not working the same way. So I just made the behavior consistent between them. So that's it. There's already people who have give me feedback, and I have fixed them. So if anyone want to revalidate, it will be good. And that's all I have on my end.
Matthew, my last feedback around that, if even if like we don't include hyphen count flag, if we are showing the list of components, we should show a top level summary of like, okay, these are the total count of models and these are the paginated results. And hyphen count, if user only enters hyphen count, that only show the total count. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. So if we do Meshery CTL component list without the count, it just display the list of components. And if we are adding the dash dash count, it will display the count at the top and then the list at the end, right?
Yeah, yeah, slight change. So I was saying if user enters Meshery CTL model list or component list, doesn't matter hyphen count is included or not. We should also show a summary of like, okay, these are the total models. Like we should also show the count. And if user includes like only hyphen count, then only show the count. No need to include the actual list.
Okay. Does this under the list command or just Meshery model or Meshery component dash dash count where it should be done?
Under the list. Oh, sorry, no.
Okay.
Under Meshery CTL model hyphen count.
Okay. I need to change this. So if you want to do that, I will
Okay.
update the pull request to have
Okay.
this behavior, and I'll let you know when it will be done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. So next up, we have reserves item, and we do have reserve on call. So can you please start sharing your item?
Yeah, sure. Am I audible?
Yeah, just quick heads up that if you are asking whether or not you are audible or your screen is visible, so there's this $2 fine that you have to pay, and that is like a mandatory kind of thing.
Okay.
Let
Okay,
me know
no,
your
actually,
payment method.
sorry about that. Actually, once last time it happened. Yeah, so I had been working on migration of the Cypress tests through Playwright, and I had migrated all the existing tests that we can find here. So only two of the tests which were, I think, incomplete, and their like respective point. There are some pointers in the UI which help us pick the components, so those were also not configured. So these, except these two tests that were previously commented out, I have completed the all the other tests here. Like I ran them just a while ago. They are passing on my system, so I will be also adding them to the workflow, like I discussed with Lee yesterday. Like, uh, he said to get the tests up and running, and I had worked on. I have made the some changes which were requested by Abhi previously. So Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Rishabh. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I did a small couple of reviews there also, like if you chat there, but otherwise the PR is solid and we might quickly get these up and running. On the same note,
okay.
like we also like this mostly for volunteers and anybody who is interested, like we also need a workflow to get these tests up and running so we can take advantage of these new test cases.
Yeah, I was also like making changes for that recently. I was looking through them. Here was the previous Cypress workflow that we had. So first we like set up the server and the istio and console adapters like here, and at the end, yeah. So there are three environment variables that we are using for the playwright tests. A user email, user password, and a provider token. So currently I am using my layer 5 account credentials for them. If we use them in the like deployment in the actions, I think we would require a account
Yeah,
for
the
that.
tokens should be already present, like in the secrets, these should be present because we use them throughout the org. So, like locally, you can use your own, but when it would be an action, it would use the global secrets.
Okay, okay, I will have to check that then. Also, if you like, could you share the names of those secrets? Like, then I can put them here and like I can add that to the PR so that we can integrate it into the workflow.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I will update those.
Okay, thanks. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Rishabh. So, with that, now we have item from Hargun on docs. Do we have our own? Looks like we don't. So let's keep going. And next item is from Uzar. So Uzar, do you mind?
Yeah, sure. So my particular item is about the recent effort. So some of you might be aware that Chris Carey is one of the contributor who has helped Meshery to ensure Meshery designs are listed on Artifact Hub as an artifact. So if you go, like, Artifact Hub is a hub for like any of the packages, for example, like Helm charts or OPA policies or headlamp plugins or everything. So recently we also added Meshery design. So you can store your Meshery design on Artifact Hub as well as a way to like share or promote or uh, as a storage mechanism. So right now, the process is that you have to like when you if you want your mesh design to be stored inside Artifact Hub or listed inside Artifact Hub, you need to create an Artifact Hub package.yaml file, which looks like uh, similar to this. They have a defined schema and everything, and only if you have this file, your design would be listed inside this repository or this hub. So basically, they use this format to render your designs or to render what the design does, or it act as a metadata for them. So currently the process was manual that if you download your design inside in a YAML format from the Meshery UI, and you have to manually write this format and paste inside or store inside your repository, and then Artifact Hub will source it. So now there is a like a recent enhancement wherein you can go into Meshery UI and just download it, click on the download option, and choose one of the format, and you will be given a package wherein it contains your actual design, which is this, and also this corresponding package, uh, so that you don't need to manually create it. So that will be automatically created. You just need to bundle this package and paste at your GitHub repository, and your Artifact Hub and your designs will be listed inside Artifact Hub. And similarly, it is for the any of the formats. So whether you are downloading it as OCI image or normal design. So is this like enhancement clear, or like is there any question about it? So right now, if you see, like Lee has ensured that we have some of the design listed, but the process is manual. So right now we have around like only 2 designs. So it appears like So this was the update from my side. Any questions on it?
We have one in chat.
Yes, it will be included inside OCI export. And for current export, it is included, but we can have an option of like whether user wants that additional package or not. And for catalog workflow, so just to give a brief intro, that Meshery.io is a place where like we store catalogs, and it has a workflow wherein whenever new catalog is published, this workflow kicks off and adds that catalog entry inside this Meshery.io repository. And a similar enhancement is needed, wherein as this catalog.md file is getting generated, side by side, this artifact hub package.yaml that I just showed you is also should also be generated, and it should use like like there is no need to manually map this thing. So we already have a mapping, or we already have a function inside Meshery. So the idea is to reuse those functionality rather than redefining it and recreating the function inside this repository. So if anyone is interested, they can like contact me, and I will give a more uh, better explanation about like how to approach it, or what is the requirement and how to proceed. So for now, the status is that catalog workflow is not updated.
Thank you, Zai, for those updates. So let's just wait for 10 seconds if anyone wants to sign up for this task that Ijaz mentioned. So will any one of you sound off like if you want to take it up, or later you also can contact Ijaz through public Slack channels. Yeah, so thank you, Zai. All right, so moving forward, we have item from Avani on docs, but it looks like we are missing Avani today on call, so we'll put a reminder in channel for her. And so next up, we have Ibrahim's item. So Ibrahim, do you mind sharing your work?
Sure. Thanks. Hey everyone. So I've been working on migrating the Linkerd adapter to components and models of V1 Beta 1. And I've been able to generate the comps and modules here, but I have that PR on the Meshery adapter library. Currently, I'm using my own commit. So I need this reviewed and merged before I can update this and push a PR for the adapter itself. I'll just share the PR. Uza left a couple comments for me a couple weeks ago, and I was able to follow all of that and get to this point. So I just need that reviewed and merged, then I can move on with the adapter.
Yeah, sure. I will review it.
Okay, yep. That's my update. And I'm sorry for not attending last week. I had some personal stuff that came up.
Thank you for sending words, Ibrahim. So that's really helpful. And thank you for your update.
A quick
So-
question. So for Ibram's, for this particular fix, this particular effort, is this something that then gets replicated across the rest of the adapters, or am I confusing this?
Ideally, yes, but I'll have to look at each adapter because I'm saying most of them have the CIs failing. At least for the Linkerd adapter, this is the fix. I'd have to look at every other adapter.
Got you. Okay. All right. Ibrahim's got his work cut out for him. That's good. Yeah, that's actually well, it's a heck of a thing to be able to say that you that part of the contribution to the project is to take basically all of the adapters from red to green. I mean, that's pretty significant. The compatibility matrix inside Meshery docs, I think we've looked at that one before. Ibrahim, does that one ring a bell? It's like the auto documentation, Oh, yeah, if it
Gotcha.
does, yeah, we should take a quick look because it's inside of Meshery docs. Every time that one of the adapters has its anytime an adapter goes through a build and its build checks either pass or fail, those test results, well, it's not just that they like built and passed or failed the lint checks, but it's also, well, it's sort of presuming that that happens. And then on top of that, there are a few end-to-end tests that are run. And so for each adapter, the end-to-end tests are relatively simple, but quite important. And so what happens is each time that, well, I'll try not to repeat myself. Each time that a test like this is run, inside of the GitHub workflow, a small Kubernetes, single cluster Kubernetes, like a Minikube is spun up, and a fresh build of Meshery is done, and a fresh build of that specific adapter is done. And then Meshery itself is deployed, and then the adapter specific tests start from there. And a lot of the adapters look relatively similar or have relatively similar capabilities. But anyway, even though the end-to-end tests are, in the grand scheme of things, somewhat simple or somewhat straightforward, like provision the service mesh just in a relatively basic way, it's still extraordinarily powerful because just that one test means that Meshery was building, it's able to deploy the adapter built, it's able, like it registered its capability, like just like, I don't know, some very large percentage of the code is implicated and invoked in just that one test. For each of the adapters, there's like, 3 or 4-ish or 5 or whatever tests. If anyone were to click on one of these X's or check marks or any of this, actually, if you hover over a check mark, I'm curious. 100%. Yeah, if you click on that one. So it's saying for Kubernetes 125.3, of the last time that the Linkerd, the Meshery Linkerd adapter was built, it was an edge release. If you hover over that first row, I'll just direct your mouse, whoever it is. And as you click on the row, okay. So here we go. So what Lee was saying is, there's a little bit of a discrepancy here, maybe. I wonder if any of you can figure out what that discrepancy here is. It's a hard question to answer because the discrepancy is not shown directly on this page. But if you take note of the Minikube version, that's a recent version, and that's great, to be testing. That version is the Kubernetes version, right? It's not like, and Minikube has its own versions. Anyway, that's the Kubernetes version, I'm sure of it, 129. I think 130 is the latest, probably. If you were to go back a page, I swear that we clicked on Kubernetes 125.3. Yeah, you're close. One to the right. Boom. See the Kubernetes version column? Anyway, not the most critical of, like, it's good that we're testing on latest things. There probably aren't a lot of people running 125. But anyway, the point is, hopefully all of the rest of us understand the self-documenting tests and their results that are happening. Pretty cool, nice framework. Actually, it would be a great framework to expand well beyond the adapters. And actually to, like, if you think about it, I'll ask this question. If we were to expand this and test much more of Meshery's integrations or much more of its ability to manage particular infrastructure, particular technologies, what do you think we might test? Or how might this look? What's that? Oh, yeah, that's right. It would probably be models. Or, if Meshery supports a couple hundred integrations, I think each integration, the way that they're counted is that like it's a model. Meshery has a model for my favorite example for Prometheus. I can't think of any other example every time I try to go do it. Anyway, Meshery supports the integration with Prometheus. It does so through I think it's like the Cube Stack Prometheus custom resources. And maybe that integration is working very well, and maybe it isn't. But maybe I don't know, because maybe there isn't a page like this that highlights that for us. I can tell you that there is a bunch of hidden like server logs and failed workflow actions that don't build those models every day. And when someone and there's not tests necessarily being done. I can tell you contributors like Deepak Reddy, who are on the call, he has been, and there are others, but Deepak in particular has been making a fine mess, so to speak, of all of the designs that are being published to the catalog. And by fine mess, I mean he's been doing a great job of creating a bunch of designs, publishing those designs to Meshery's catalog. There are a total of 185 designs in the catalog right now. Those designs cover quite a few different technologies, Prometheus being one of them. Of course, there's 57 of them, Yash, that don't list out their technologies. So that's a little confusing to me as to how that is. But of those 185, each of those, if the project, and by the way, if you're wondering where you can see these 185, it's on Meshery.io/catalog. There's a bunch of different designs. You can thank Deepak for, quite a few of them. And if the project, if anyone who's contributing here, or if you're just using the tool, in some respects, you're standing behind these saying, these work, and these are somewhat interesting. Maybe they're really, really simple designs. Maybe they're really, really complex. Doesn't matter. But as a project and as a user of the tool, collectively, we stand behind these saying they work. Whether they're simple or sophisticated, either way, they work. Oh, do they now? They do, right? Or do they? And so, Ibrahim, as you think about those end-to-end tests that are being performed, it might be like one of probably the most critical end-to-end tests that we do every day, many times a day, is to take one of those designs and open it up. And I think we deploy it as well. You would think that maybe there would be automation to perform at least one time to perform a test for each of those catalog items. So the items that are shown in that public catalog, they're curated. So if you're a Meshery maintainer, when someone requests to publish a design to the catalog, and anyone can request to publish a design to the catalog, please do go ahead, make it super simple, make it really complex. Again, it doesn't matter. Click to publish it. Meshery maintainers will receive an email, go check it out. Really what they're trying to do for the most part right now is they're just trying to make sure this thing has a title and a description, and you can open it up and examine it. It's not necessarily the case that the design is deployable. Some highly reusable designs aren't immediately deployable. Like some of them have blank fields on purpose so that you can fill it in if you want to use that design. If we had end-to-end tests that verify these and that maybe show a badge on the outside saying last time built, last time deployed. Yeah. Food for thought. Does anybody else have thoughts on that? Does anybody think that that's a good idea, think that there should be a compatibility matrix speaking to those, or that there should be a badge on the front of the cards that we see in the catalog that indicate when they were last, opened or last reviewed.
Yeah, I think we can have like the summary of the test, like if that design is building properly, and also maybe some other stuff like if that design is validating properly, because we can have that functionality also. So that would be also helpful, like when we are checking to publish that and we are applying it, so we can see like if it's properly validated and all of those advantage of when we are publishing it and other users when they are using that catalog item.
Yeah, so like if anyone of you have any thoughts, you can share with us in chat or through unmuting yourself. All right, so I think no one has no thoughts for now. So if you do, please drop them in Slack channel. All right, so let's get going. And next item that we have is from Animesh. So Animesh, do you mind sharing your item?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Animesh, we still can.
Yeah. I have to boot WSL. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe we can circle back to your item a
Okay.
couple
Okay.
of minutes later. Yeah, so thank you, Animesh. Next up, we have an item from either Rudraksh or Yash. So do anyone of you want to cover?
Yeah, sure. Actually, Rudraksh is not available to us. I will cover with that too because
Yeah.
yes. So actually, in Meshery, if you're new, in Meshery we use Castle, which is a client-side library for making sure that you user access only those resources which which to he have or they have access to. So Castle have a can function which identifies that if a user allowed to do that or not, in which client pass two things, which is action and the subject. So by default, Castle scan function is case sensitive, and which was causing issues in few of the areas, one of which in which user are not or not able to assign the connection to the environment. So it was because the case was different for the subject. This change makes sure that Castle scan function is case insensitive, and whenever it perform the can functions, first it converts the subject to the base level, which is lowercase. After that, it performs the can function. So make sure this kind of issue doesn't happen again. So yeah, this was a small item, which makes sure we don't have this issue again. If there is any question.
Thank you, Yash. So Let me start sharing my screen once again. And next item is from Milind. So do we have Milind on call? I'll quickly check. Looks we don't. So let's keep going. Next up, we have Sangram's item, and we're missing Sangram too. And for Abid's item, Abid just sent a word about some urgent work come up, so probably we'll skip this item for now. And then we have this call for volunteers by Yash. So Yash, do you mind making this?
Yeah, sure. Let me share again. So actually, I raised a call for volunteer for creating tutorials. So what is tutorial? Tutorials are the well documented form for particular resource that you can perform in the Meshery. So if you go in the Meshery and you open the visualizer designer mode in the mesh map, and you can perform various actions, and that you can design, you can create new designs. So tutorials are well documented form in which you can you help users to understand what with each resource what you can do. Some, let's say, how to deploy, how to create a design for deployment, how to deploy Prometheus with a design, maybe with the template that we already have in the catalog, or maybe by creating a new. So this is a call for volunteer because there are many issues are open on creating tutorials. Like this one of this is monitoring resources between Prometheus and Grafana and Meshery. So if you are interested in creating tutorials and interested in the documentation part, you can check out the Meshery repo for those issues and comment on this issue so that these issues can be get assigned to you. Along with, you can, it would be also nice if you can confirm that you are able to run Meshery locally or you are able to access the playground. So I will wait for 5 seconds if you have any questions regarding tutorial. I have mentioned all the required issues for you to get the basic understanding what tutorials are and how you can get started. You can check out the issues. Yep, thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Yash. So the next item that is from Akshay, if you can please take a look at the comment from him in Zoom chat. Just in case, yes. Yeah, Akshay was mentioning whether or not you can take up this item and maybe talk about it.
Okay. Okay, so he's not okay. Let me share that. So this item is mainly talks about merging the two models, which is the info model and the other is the published model. Because the thing is, in the published model and in the info model, you perform most of the similar actions. And this will make sure we have a simpler UI by having a single model, which will allow you to publish the design and helps you to update the catalog data. So Akshay already have a PR related to that. There are a few items which is just to make sure that if a user is only updating the catalog data, we allow them to do that if they only want to change any of the field of the catalog in the model. So let me share it. So if you click on this one, this is a published model that you see right now. And when you click on the info model, this is the info model right now. So info model and publish model are getting merged, and it will be a single, but there will be one more button which will be a publish catalog action button. The only thing left in this PR is just to make sure that user are allowed to change any of the field and save button is allowed. And publish to modal button is get enabled only when user fill all the fields. So that kind of validation is left from Akshay to post the change. After that, we will be good to go and we will be able to match that field. If there is any question.
Is there no questions on this? Okay, or how about Deepak? Does this make sense to you? You're working on the catalog flows?
Makes sense.
Yeah, what makes sense about it?
The flow, I mean, the publishing flow. I mean, yes, we can have that validation, that description and CVH. After the filling the description and CVH, only the publish button should be enabled so that uh, it could be more. I mean, there are many designs which doesn't have that description and CVH. Uh, with that enabling that validation for the description and CVH, that could that could reduce the stale designs in the catalog.
Yeah, but yep, that makes sense. So to recap, there's two things that people will eventually be able to do here. One is to just take a look at their document, their design, and add some details, add some helpful info about the design, what it's for, what's inside of it. You know, if they want to then publish the design to a public catalog, there'll be a button to do that. But to what Deepak and Yash just said, if you go back here, that publish button, you won't be able to click it until all of the fields are filled in, because those are all required fields. So then my question, Rex, is how will users understand that that is why the publish button isn't lit up? Rex, are you there by chance? If not, I'll ask, I guess, just anybody else. If you go back to the other modal for a moment, please. There's that submit for approval button. Great. We're going to take that submit for approval button and put it right here on this modal. If all of the fields are not filled in, the submit for approval button will not be enabled. It would be disabled because those are all required. Although you can type in some information and save the form just to have the info. Maybe you don't want to publish it. You just want to have some documentation detail. So my question is, how will users know? It would seem like there would be users sitting there looking at that disabled submit for approval thinking, well, I guess I just am not permissioned to do that. Or I guess I just don't understand what that's for because it's always disabled. And they've never typed anything into caveats and considerations, in part because it's not required. But unbeknownst to them, that's what's required to light up the button. So anybody have any ideas?
Yeah, it is. I have an idea wherein we can allow user to click on the submit for approval, but because we already know the validation has failed, we can just pop a sniper or just a warning in front of the model itself. I know it is not according to our how the design system we follow for disable buttons, but I think that would clearly bring into mind, okay, the validation is failing, that's why that button is not actually making the submission.
Thank you. I can give you some examples that would be a corollary to that you might find kind of funny.
And one more thing is that we can have that the info button. Can you get into that info thing? sometimes as a publisher, you just fill in the details in the info and just leave it. You will have that in a mind that this will automatically filled in the publish page, so that users may not do that repeatedly. Maybe that can be helpful, because we don't write the CVH in a one go, CVH and considerations in a one go.
Yeah, I don't, how did that fix the UX though, what you said?
But that we have, or we already have, like we will have the save button.
Okay, I mean, I am saying that from the info, this description and CVH can be automatically picked up to this publish thing. I mean, when we are publishing, we have another description and CVH and considerations. Why don't we just have that thing here? I mean,
I don't know what
Uh,
you said. I don't understand what you said. To somebody else.
No, actually, I don't do so. Maybe you can like give a review in the slide.
Yeah,
okay,
so it would be helpful if you
yes,
could write
yes,
that up in Slack channel.
yeah,
Thank you, Deepak.
yeah,
Anyone else have
okay.
any thought on this, or?
Yeah, I do. I do a real quick one. To iterate on what Uzair had said, for as desperately as I would like to pick on it, I can't, because it's super helpful when people just ideate and bring up ideas about what, you know, trying to break through, break the problem down and break through. If you all notice on the screen right now, there are 4 or so small question mark icons. And the effect of those question mark icons is that if you hover your mouse over them, they give you a more rich description of the purpose of the field and what you're supposed to do with that particular field. Now, if any of you have filled in, worked in the design configurator, or if you've worked in MeshMap, in either of those locations, if you're typing in data into a field and it's invalid, like it's expecting a word and you type in a number, you're shown something turns red and you're shown a small indicator next to it, a little red icon. I forget what the icon is, but it'll offer some amount of help. Sometimes it's really helpful help, and sometimes that isn't. In this case, it's fairly helpful. It's like it's saying you have to check mark one of those. And so to iterate on Uzair's suggestion, perhaps a small exclamation mark icon might be next adjacent to the submit for approval button. And perhaps the submit for approval button is disabled because it would be inappropriate to submit it if all the fields aren't, you know, the required fields aren't present. But then you'd have some indicator right next to it as to what's, you know, why that's disabled. Not the best, but food for thought. So, Vivek, do we have other agenda items, or does anyone else have a final thought here?
Yeah, so like if we are done with this item, so we may quickly cover animation item on docs.
Do we
It's
have-
responsive.
Okay, do we have a meeting tomorrow?
Yeah, newcomers meeting.
Is there an agenda for that meeting?
So yeah, we will be giving overview on technology and the projects and the community.
Oh, sorry. Is there a CI meeting tomorrow? Meshery build and release meeting?
I think there is.
Yes, there is. It is second. Yeah, right now we don't have a full agenda, but we will try to get as in. So anyone who is like interested in build and release call or like Meshery CI release process, I joined tomorrow's meeting. We would also discuss like the playwright test and the end-to-end integration compatibility matrix that we just gave a brief intro.
Yeah, so the meeting calendar is in chat. You can come here and subscribe to the calendar so that it will send you all the updates. And also for those folks who are like who want to get an overview and want to find areas where they can contribute. So we'll have a newcomers meeting tomorrow. You will find me as hosting that meeting. So do come and join that meeting. We'll discuss a couple of things together. If you have any question, you can also ask that. All right, so we have 2 more minutes, and so I wonder if Animesh can
Yeah, I
maybe
can.
quickly.
Hmm. So basically, this was my first issue. The thing was that docs were not responsive. There were already some PRs, but the other sections were not responsive. So I added media queries to that. Let me show you the before and after for that. So this is the current docs. As you can see, they are not responsive. It overflows. So I fixed that issue. And there were also some alerts that was also not responsive. I have fixed them too. This was not also responsive. The alerts were, so I fixed these two also.
Thank you, Animesh. That is really helpful update. So
Yeah.
please go ahead. You were saying something, right? Please continue if you have any question. So
No, I was just thinking that there's some kind of design that I have to follow, or whatever I did, it was reviewed. That was okay, or some kind of guide I have to follow for the styles.
I'll take a look, and I will also ask Rex and other UXers to review your PM. So hopefully we'll get there. So thank you, Animesh. And for those of you who just want to take a look, I put the link in chat. You can go and take a look at Animesh's work. So we are top of the hour, and so basically to say bye for this call. So we'll see you next Wednesday if you join. This is a weekly meeting, and you can join every Wednesday if you want to and share your updates. So thank you everyone for joining. We'll see you. Bye.